all for joining to this meeting. As you know, we have an important project coming up, and it is critical we choose the right decision-making process to plan and execute it efficiently. So let us walk through some decision-making models and decide which one work best for this project.
Absolutely. I think a good place to start is with rational decision making. It is a step-by-step approach that allows us to analyze all possible outcomes before making a decision.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Can you walk us through the key steps in that process?
Sure. First, we need to define the problem clearly. What exactly is the issue we try to solve? Next, we identify all the possible solutions, no matter how unrealistic they may seem at first. Then, we weigh the pros and cons of each option, looking at the potential outcome. After that, we make the decision and importantly, we monitor the result to see if we made the right choice. That sounds like an ideal approach.
Yes.
But is it always practical? In reality, we often face constraints, limited time, limited resources, or even cognitive limits. That's where bounded rationally comes in.
Interesting. Can you explain how bounded rationality differs?
Of course, bounded rationally acknowledge that our ability to make decisions is limited by these constraints, our bounded capacity to process all available information. Rather than aiming for the perfect solution, we settle for a good enough option, something that satisfies the criteria within our limitation. For example, in the last project, we didn't have the time to analyze every single vendor for a new system. So, we went with the vendor that met most of our criteria.
Exactly. Bounded rationality can actually save time and effort, which is why I often lean toward intuitive decision making. It's not about running everyday decision to a complex analytical process, but rather relying on gut feelings and past experience. Sometimes your instinct can guide you more quickly and effectively, especially when you don't have all the data you had like.
Intuitive decision making? Do you really think that's suitable for a project this big? Relying on intuition can be risky when the stakes are high.
I'm not saying we should rely solely on gut feelings, but when you have experience in similar projects, your subconscious can pick up on patterns and give you a sense of direction. Sometimes it's faster and more effective than sitting down with a spreadsheet of pros and cons. It's about balance. You combine data with intuition.
I think that's an important point. So we have rational decision making, which is thorough but time consuming. We have bounded reality, which is more practical when we have limitations. And then we have intuitive decision making, which can leverage experience and save time.
Exactly. For me, I think it depends on the type of decision we're making. If it's a major decision with a lot of unknowns, I would lean toward rational decision making. But for smaller, routine decision, intuition can be useful. I see your point. Maybe it's about the scale and complexity of the decision. For this project, since there are so many moving parts, I think we need a more structured approach. But we can also use intuition for smaller decisions along the way.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Do you think we can actually combine these approaches?
Yes, I agree. We don't have to stick to just one process. For more critical decisions, we can take a rational approach, analyze everything in detail. But for decisions that need to be made on the fly, we can trust our instinct, especially since we all have experience working on similar projects.
That sounds like a balanced plan. Use rational decision making use rational decision making when we have the time and data, and fall back on intuition or bounded rationality when we are under constraints or making smaller routine decisions.
I think we have a solid approach. We'll take it step by step with the flexibility to adjust based on the situation. We'll use a rational model for the more significant decision and rely on our experience. And also, we use intuition when the situation calls for the quick action.
That works for me. Let's go with that plan and see how it's played out.
Agree. It's a smart way to move forward.
Great. Thanks everyone. I'll document this approach in our project plan and we can always review it as we move forward. Thank you.